Hey, champions, welcome back to Step Outside of Your Comfort Zone, where we are removing the obstacles that stand in your way from where you are to where you want to be. We are live every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here in the Step Outside Your Zone community. I am Chris Gloss, and let me just take a moment and pause. I am so excited this evening. Man, I tell you, my energy level is off the scale. Why? I have such a phenomenal guest who I've been watching online, who her message has just definitely has been firing me up. I mean, her message comes with power and enthusiasm and a life-changing force with it. She is a phenomenal transformation coach, and I can't wait to introduce you to her. But right before we get to her, I want to tell you about what we're going to unpack and uncover today. We're talking about this journey of stepping outside your comfort zone, and we have three power things that we want to talk about tonight. We're talking about release, refresh, and refuel. If you're taking notes, or if you're watching live, or even by the replay, go ahead and put that in the chat room. Release, refresh, and refuel. These things are very important for your journey to step outside your comfort zone, and I have the most amazing person to bring this information forward tonight. So let me know, where are you watching from, whether you're watching live or the replay. I want you to put inside the comments, put inside the chat where you're watching live from. I want to know where you at to make sure that we can connect with people all around the world as this message is just going to go forward. So tonight, my very special guest, Sahsha Campbell-Garbutt. She's a certified life coach, international speaker, author, and poet. But that's not doing her any justice. Can nobody on this planet introduce Sahsha like she can? So, ladies and gentlemen, do me a huge personal favor. Let's give a round of applause as I bring Sahsha on and let her introduce herself with the power force she is. Sahsha, welcome to Step Outside of Your Comfort Zone.
Peace and blessings, peace and blessings. It is Sahsha Campbell-Garbutt, your health and personal freedom coach, aka the gangster of transformation and the coach of the crossroads. Thank you for having me, Chris.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you, from the first message I heard her talk, she was on a Facebook Live. I just sat there, just glued to the screen. I mean, every word is infused with transformation. Every word is infused with empowerment. And I said, you know what? I gotta have her in this community. I have to introduce her to as many people as I can because she brings it. When I say she brings it, after tonight's message, just be prepared not to be the same. Identify where you are now, because when this message is over, you will not be in the same spot. I can guarantee you that, because if a 4-minute live, watching her for 4 minutes can change my life, let me tell you what, buckle up. That's all I got to tell you. So I want to dive right into something before we get into our three pillars of tonight. And Sahsha, I want to kick it off. Well, let me start. I'm too excited, Sahsha. I'm too excited to hear your thoughts and your wisdom. Tell us a little bit about yourself, some things that you're working on before we dive in.
Thank you so much. So I reside in Southern California. I've had a wonderful journey that I could now embrace because I am sitting in purpose. And sometimes we miss the significance of each and everything we go through because we don't know where we are and we're not connected to purpose. So I am a certified health and personal freedom coach, the coach of the crossroads. But before that, I was a personal trainer. And before that, I worked as an actor and model in LA. And before that, I worked in corporate. So I've done a little bit of everything. I have written 2 books. One's called The Well, Where Fitness Begins from Within. And the other one is called Joie de Vivre in Quarantine, and it's my poetry collection. So how I got here was simply I went from going around life to going through life, and going through life has really, really empowered me. I'm also a herbal mixer. I mix herbs and really enjoy doing that. And I tie in emotional and subconscious health into physical health, because you can't attain physical health until your emotions and your subconscious is in alignment. So that's me in a tight nutshell, Chris.
Oh man, that's amazing. Tell me a little bit more about the books. Tell me about each one of those books you wrote.
So the Well Where Fitness Begins from Within was my first book, written in 2016 and still selling quite well too. It is a book that talks about, in order to get from to your fitness level on the outside, you have to get fit on the inside, cleansing yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, not only physiologically in your gut and in your blood and all that stuff, and in your diet. It really does help people transition to a plant-based lifestyle, but it's also about clearing out those emotions that lead on to disease, which lead on to the food cravings that we have, right? Because our diseases don't just come from anywhere, and I don't want to dive too deep yet, but our diseases come from a collection, a collaboration of mindsets, beliefs, and ideologies that keep us stuck. So we have to clear through that first in order to really experience wellness. And Joie de Vivre in Quarantine, I wrote this spring during the height of quarantine. I've always been into poetry, always written it, never shared it, never even got on stage to perform it, because I was like, it's just something that I do. And this time around, I was downloaded with poems, and I put them in a book. All the poems were given to me in about 48 to 72 hours. So I just wrote it, and just allowed myself to be a vessel for this type of healing, and getting out of my comfort zone, Chris, because poetry was always that closet thing I did. That's why I call myself the closet MC sometimes, because I'm not a rapper, obviously, but I do write poetry, and it was more for myself, but I figured other people could be blessed by it as
Wow, so it sounds like you're pretty familiar with the comfort zone. So have you ever experienced yourself personally being in a comfort zone, and what was that experience like for you?
well. Oh, absolutely. We have, even if it's something we don't like and we complain about, we have a tendency to be comforted by it because it's familiar. Um, when I had a couple stints to be quite honest, in corporate America, it was tough to leave because I couldn't control how everything would work out. I knew I wasn't happy there. However, I knew that I was getting this check every 2 weeks. Therefore, I need to stay there. And my past was, oh, I have a family that I have to help take care of and all this. So I allowed myself to complain about it, right? Even though I didn't like it, but it was so comfortable. We get comfortable in our mess. And night after night and day after day, that discomfort turned into insomnia, turned into anxiety. And I knew that I was the only one controlling this narrative. That was the one thing I could control, the narrative that I live by. And I had to do it for myself. You know, the material things are only as good as this material right here, right? And if I didn't feel good about myself, I could not justify the money. And I knew I had a greater call. So I had to get uncomfortable in diving into that and saying, okay, source, okay, God, what is this all about? What has my life meant up to this point, and where can I go from here? And I have a number of stories like that. I was diagnosed with fibroids in my 20s, and the doctors wanted to have a surgery and just cut it out of me. And I was like, something in my spirit did not sit right. And that's where I knew that I could, once again, take control of myself. Something ain't right. I have the opportunity to dig deeper into this and seek alternative ways of healing, because I hadn't had any children at the time and I didn't want to have any surgery that wasn't necessary. So I stepped out of my comfort zone, because we have all been taught to listen to authorities. Everybody knows better than we do, whether it's a doctor, a judge, a minister, and I'm not knocking any of those. However, the only person that lives with us on a daily basis is us. So no one really knows us better than us and the source that gives us life. So I got uncomfortable with that diagnosis. I broke out of my comfort zone and seeked natural healing for that.
Man, I love that because it's all about getting uncomfortable. Because when you're comfortable, it leads you right into that place where you don't reach, you don't stretch, you don't grow anymore. Your dreams die. You lose that
Yeah.
passion, you lose that hunger to want to continue to
Yeah.
move forward. So it's all about getting uncomfortable. I remember his name's Peter J. Daniel. He's the wealthiest man in Australia, and he said,
Mm.
if you're not living, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room. right?
Oh, say
So
that again for
it's
people in the
all
back.
about
Say it
that.
again for people in the
If
back.
you're, I'm telling you, she is dangerous, y'all. She is dangerous. She's such a powerhouse. Peter J. Daniels said, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much room, right? So it's
It-
all about being out there in life, being engaged, not in the stands, but on the field.
Let me tell you something. If you're aware that you're comfortable, that is all the fuel that you need to move. If you are aware that you are comfortable, you are taking up too much space because there's people in not in awareness of their comfort. You are very aware that this don't feel good. You have a right. You have a mandate to get out of that space. You have a mandate to get out of that space.
I love
And once
that.
you really believe in it, help is there because we're not alone. We're not alone, you know.
Hey, we got to rewind that though, because that's such a powerful statement that if you're aware, I mean, that awareness, that you could take that for granted.
Sure.
So talk a little bit more about that state of awareness, and how even just the mere fact of knowing that you're not on the edge, knowing that you're just going along and getting along, and knowing that you're stuck and doing nothing about it, that's an indicator.
Awareness is a gift that we bury a lot. It's like that thing you get at Christmas, but it's the commonplace. It's like the Christmas tree. Oh, I expect to get a tree, but we don't really take it for the gift that it is. It reminds us of the season. It reminds us of how beautiful nature is if we have a real tree. But it's that thing. It doesn't have all the anticipation like your gifts do, right under the tree. But your gifts would not be as amazing if you didn't have the tree to put it under. So awareness is that thing that we all have, but we don't pay attention to it because it doesn't get a lot of attention. It doesn't make us feel good. It doesn't always yield what we want under it or through it. So we don't pay attention. And then we get busy, right? And it covers up our awareness. Oh, I'm too busy for this. I'm too busy trying to get this promotion. I'm too busy running my kids all over the place. Or I'm too busy trying to find a man. Or I'm too busy trying to put all this energy into the very thing that I really don't want. And awareness gets buried, but awareness is always there and always alive. And if you're starting to not be able to sleep at night, if you are starting to question everything that you've attained and it's still not enough, if you're starting to question your relationships, if you're starting to question your own state of mind, if you're starting to question the system around you, congratulations, you are now in awareness, and it's your job to seek out what that awareness is trying to teach you. Because as you're responsible for yourself, you are responsible for the collective around you. Because sometimes people do not change if you're comfortable because you keep them comfortable. Sometimes the burden, just a little bit, is on you to make yourself and those watching you uncomfortable so they can step into their own greatness too.
My God, you know what? I already know I'm gonna watch this about 9,000 times, but I'm about to go there. I'm about to take you somewhere.
Chris,
No. I'm about to take you somewhere. You did a video talking about attention.
I did.
Let's go there. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So all the videos that I do, I don't come up with. I like to say they're downloaded. So I use the analogy, and I really feel like it's a divine possession when I do these videos. But if I remember attention, I say the thing you give, put a 10 on grows. Attention, the root word to attention is 10. And when we are judging someone, we judge them on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. So if we give something a 10, that means that it supersedes everything else. So the very thing that you're giving a 10 to is what has grown in your life. Even if it's the stuff that you don't like. 2020 has shown us a lot of stuff we don't like, but the very thing we don't like, we're feeding. Meanwhile, poor awareness stays at a 1, and it doesn't get any attention because a lot of times the things that we give attention to keep us in our victimhood, or it keeps us being a villain, or it keeps us needing to be saved. We give attention to the stuff that takes away power from us. So if you want to experience a shift in your life, change what you give a 10 to.
All right, I'm gonna dive in there with you. Here we go.
Let's go.
So one of the phrases that I use often, especially in the performance coaching that I do, is people pay attention to where they find the most tension. People
There
pay
you go.
attention to where they find the most tension. And I love what you were just saying, because if you ranked it on a scale of 10, that's the highest. That's where you're going to give all your energy, all your focus. Everything is going to be around that 10. And if you stay at that level 10, especially trying to be an entrepreneur and everything else, if you're not mindful how you manage this tension in your life, you'll run right into burnout, because you're so focused on this one thing. I used to talk about how focus creates blindness, right? Which can be a good thing, but anything that you abuse will start to derail you, right? So it's like, if you stay too long, too hard, too focused like that, then you're going to forget about your family. You're going to forget about what matters, because you're just so driven about this one thing. You're giving this one thing all your attention, and then it leads to you eventually breaking down and being stuck inside of that comfort zone, because it'll lead you to just being comfortable. You'll be scared to go out again, scared to reach, scared to stretch, scared to risk again. So what I want to hear from you is, say that again.
I said that's very good, very good, very good.
So
Landing.
what I want to hear from you is, what's at stake if people don't step outside of their comfort zone? If they decide, okay, I've been wounded, I've been hurt, things didn't go well when I first tried, I've been injured, I got my heart broke, and they just decide to stay in that comfort zone, what is at stake if they continue to stay there?
This just came to me. Attention is the tunnel. Prayer is the vision. Attention is the tunnel. Prayer is the vision. Whatever you're giving your attention to is what you're going to focus on. The very thing that you're praying for is the vision. It's the outer walls, and you're so focused here, you're not looking out here. And I'm saying that to say, you have to expand. Getting out of your comfort zone simply means expanding your vision, because the very thing you want is going right past you, because all you can see is this. And that's where we get in trouble, because we're so busy wanting our answers to look a certain way. You want your answers to be 6'3", dude in shape, A, B, and C. But the prayers are, the answer to the prayers, maybe he's 6'2", maybe he's 6'1". Maybe he has a divorce, and maybe he's not just been single. Come on, ladies, I'm talking to you. Perhaps you want your vision, whatever you're focusing on, rather, to come in a $500,000 brand new home. But maybe the vision says, go ahead and get this $300,000 home and put $200,000 worth in renovations, and it's going to be better than any house that you could imagine. You have to stay fluid and flexible, and you have to know that your prayers go beyond your finite scope. That's why the vision is important. Our tunnel keeps us here. The vision is out here. So what you risk when you stay in your comfort zone is you risk the chance to live in infinite possibilities. Some of us right now, somebody tuning in right now, I'm telling you, has the multiple degrees, the multiple cars, the multiple houses, bank account on swole. The same things that most people are going for, they have it. And yet they still feel empty, because the way they've attained all that keeps them comfortable. And maybe the prayers that they're saying is, please give me another way. What's my purpose? This and that. But that requires you to look outside the scope of even the thing that you've built your wealth on, or what you call success on. Because there's so many realms to our existence and success. We have to understand that this mind is conditioned. So we're only going to get a product of the conditioning. This is condition tunnel. Outside is extraordinary, superhuman, so much grander, but we ain't even there yet. So don't put a prayer out and then say it didn't get answered. You're just looking in the wrong place. You got to look all around you. So if you stay in your space of comfort, you are missing out on the very thing, not only that you prayed for, but what you were born for as well.
I love that because inside the comfort zone where there's no risk, there's no you're not reaching, the vision is stagnated inside of the comfort zone. Your vision is going to be limited, or really it's not even vision, it's sight, because you're just seeing what's around you, you're just seeing what you're given, you're just seeing what's there. Vision will cause you to see beyond. Vision will cause you to see outside of. Vision will cause you to see what's possible.
It's the
Right?
outer wall. Absolutely.
Right. It's outside. It's outside of the box. That's why your imagination is so powerful, because your imagination can take you anywhere. Your imagination can. You could be in jail, but your imagination will have you walking in palaces. Your imagination can have you outside of those walls. And if you hold that, you know, that could be a part of your reality, because nothing can stop that force. Nothing can stop the power that you have operating on the inside of you. So
Absolutely.
when we think about the tunnel that you're talking about, we're thinking about people operating out of sight and instead of vision. In order to begin this journey outside of your comfort zone, that's where we're vibing around this conversation about these 3 R's, about release, refresh, and refuel. And we wanted to unpack each and every one of them. And I have the most amazing transformational coach with me to help me unpack this. As you can already see, feel, and experience, she comes from a very special place. Like she said, it's not like messages come to her as much as these messages are downloaded. So I love that. I love that. So we are in for a treat. It's like I don't know if you have Krispy Kreme where you are. It's like the hot sign is on, right? I know you don't. You know you wouldn't eat those greasy donuts, but it's like the hot sign, right?
Don't get it. When it just melts in your mouth when it's fresh. Oh yeah.
Come on now, it's fresh. What I'm trying to say is fresh. It's coming out fresh.
Yeah.
So we want to unpack the first one, which is release. So we're talking about what are you going to need on this journey outside your comfort zone. We're talking about release, refresh, and refuel. So the first one is release, and we're talking about what are you going to have to let go of? What are you going to have to put to the side, right? So you're not carrying all this weight. So what are people going to have to release in order to get outside their comfort zone and experience the life that they desire?
You're going to have to release the fact that there is nothing for you to control outside of yourself. Not only is there nothing, but you can't. Once again, that's that belief of everything I've attained is supposed to get me here, and it's not gotten me there. So it's an automatic pause. I've done everything I was supposed to, and yet I still have this void. So it's really about releasing control and walking into the void. And when people hear void, they think nothingness, but it's outside of nothing that you can create everything. So release the illusion of control. That's the first thing to release. You also, with that, sub A, you have to be willing to release ideas, people, certain habits. And this isn't always the case, but it comes up at times. And you have to be willing to put some people in your space too. So releasing control, and with that comes the people, the beliefs, the certain habits, whether it's dietary, emotional, physical, etc. That's the first thing to release.
See,
control.
You know what I love about that? Control is so big because most people think that people don't like to change, or people are resistant to change. And that's not true. People aren't resistant to change. People are more resistant to losing control, right? That's what they want. They want to hold on to that control. It has nothing to do with the change. The change may lead them to feeling out of control. So they're trying to hold on to it. So, and also people don't want to, it's a perception of loss, right? They say, well, I don't want to step out there because I'm going to lose something. I'm going to have to say no to something. What are your thoughts around that?
You're going to lose something. You're absolutely correct. Not going to lie and say that you're not going to lose anything. But the things that you will lose if you just allow yourself to let go, what happens when you let go is you create all this space, right? When you're holding on to something, nothing flows through. No life, no breath, no energy, no creative force. When you go like this, Yes, you let go of the need to control that, but you also create the container to receive everything that you want. So you're going to lose that. You're going to lose the belief that you had it all together anyways in your finite third dimensional space, because we really didn't. So yes, you will lose it. But on the other side of what you will lose is exactly the thing that you want. Even I would even like to say more of what you want. You don't even know. We don't even know what's waiting for us. So yes, I'm not going to lie. You're going to lose something. Yep.
You know what I really love about that is because that's true. People want to hear, "Oh, you're not going to lose anything. It's going to be just fine." And it's not true. It's not true.
Yeah.
Anytime you step out there to elevate yourself, you're going to lose friends. You may lose a whole lot of things, right? But but that's a perception, because you're really not losing anything. You're never going to lose something that's meant to be there. You're never going to lose something that's supposed to be there for your journey. You're not going to lose you. You're not going to lose you.
Absolutely. Oh, you're going to lose a false perception that you had of yourself, but you're going to gain the real you. There's about 2,000 vegetables and 10,000 fruits. Yet some of us only want to eat an apple because the apple tastes so good to us based on the 10 fruits that we've had, that we don't want to try anything else. And here's the funny thing. You might taste something else, and because you're so programmed to want an apple, you're automatically going to say, I don't like it. But the key is, once apples are gone and you are forced, so to speak, to eat something else, you realize that you like it more than the apple anyways. So sometimes we just don't want to lose the belief of being wrong. I was wrong about apples. It wasn't that you were wrong about apples. You just didn't know about anything else. So understanding that we are limited by what we've had in front of us, our environment limits us. And once you allow yourself to just say, what if I just turn 2 degrees to the left? Game changer. It doesn't have to always be a quantum leap that I'm now a fan of. Sometimes it just takes a little something. Instead of getting up at 6, let me get up at 5:30. Instead of being on my phone all night, let me put it down at 10 o'clock. Instead of watching Netflix every day, let me watch it once a week. It's that, because what you're doing is creating space. You're creating space for something else to happen. Most of our containers right now are filled of all of our control mechanism. I want to watch this for this long. I want to do this for this long. I want to work for this amount of money. I want my relationship to look like this. I need my friends to look like that. I need my cars to look like this. And because of free will, source, universe, God says, okay. But you're just blocking off your container. You're like a room with no windows. You cannot see the light. So you just assume that what you have in front of you is the light. And it ain't even nothing.
Wow. I love that. I love that. Yeah, because it's so interesting on how we can look at loss but not focus on the gain. Right? So it's like the tunnel, right? The attention. Loss has the 10. We give loss a 10. Yeah. Our wins, as we say, your wants, interests, needs, and desires, we give that a 1, or we give that a 0. So when it comes to that attention, what are we giving our attention to? Oh, I would step out there, but I don't want to lose nothing. Sahsha, I hear you talking. I would take your coaching session. I would buy your books, but I don't want to lose nothing. Your books might cause me to lose this relationship I don't like. Your books will cause me to lose this zip code I'm in I don't like. It's going to cause me to lose it. Instead of saying, hey, let me focus on the gain. What am I going to gain? How about gain peace of mind? You know what? And you don't know how much peace of mind is worth until you don't have it.
Don't have it. And guess what peace of mind is? It's free. Peace of mind is free. It's a choice. And sometimes choice is more expensive than the seven-figure house, because people just cannot quantify the value in something as invisible like choice. But choice is what separates. Choice is what separates. I'm going to go there. Not race, not gender, not political party. It's choice. that separates. So what we're about to experience now is a separation of dimensions, those that believe one thing versus those that believe something else. And everybody's experience is about to look different, because what this is telling us here is you have to make a choice. Sorry, you have to make a choice. You either choose the comfort and the ideal of control, which allows people to control you, or you choose to let go, walk into the void, and experience all types of support, love, and a different mindset. But you can't do both, red pill or blue pill. You have to choose. And choice is what people don't want to do, because you can't pay for your choice. You can't pay for that. You have to make the choice. And then everything will follow. So it's really not a game of money. It's not a game of class. It's a game of courage. And a lot of people don't have that courage. And you can't buy courage. You just got to jump into it.
But what if you just want to stay on the fence? I mean, what I hear you saying is I'm gonna have to make a decision here, that I can't just stay on the fence. So you're telling me that I just can't ride this thing out? I can't just stay in my comfort zone and just y'all deal with all that out there, and it's not gonna affect or impact me. You're saying that's not so?
Sure you can. Sure you can stay there. Our experience, our collective experience right now, is a result of us staying on the fence. Everything that we're experiencing right now is based on us staying on the fence, because we feel that we have to pick sides that don't serve us. And I'm talking about in all realms. I really want to eat healthy, but everyone in my house eats like junk, so I'm going to eat like junk. Instead of changing the environment, you follow it. So our whole life is an example of staying on the fence. I really want to do this, but what is everybody going to say? And I don't want to spend the money to be different and buy different food. And I know that I've taken every anxiety and depression medication and I still don't feel good. Maybe I should see a coach or another therapist, but nah, my insurance covers this, so I'm going to stay there. It's so the rabbit hole to our excuses, or the rabbit hole to our limiting beliefs, really have no end. They have no end. All we've done is graduated from little excuse to big excuse, and more reasons to justify our excuse until now. And yes, you most certainly can stay on the fence. But for those who like the comfort zone, I know the fence ain't comfortable, so you might as well jump. You might as well jump.
Especially as a man, that fence could hurt. You better get off that fence.
You're leaving yourself open to disease and infection and all that stuff. So absolutely.
Yeah, it's not a great place to be. All right, so
you're on the fence. It's
right.
Not meant for, what's the fence made for? Protection and jumping over. It's not made for sitting.
Right.
Well, I'll leave that alone.
But no, it's good, because fences are also designed to contain you. Right? Fences are designed to keep things in or keep things out. So if you're deciding to stay in, I like that analogy. I remember a pastor once said, he said, yeah, you can live your life inside here. You know what? And no one will be able to get in there. No one can hurt you. No one can harm you because you're in here. But at the same time, no one can bless you. No one can love you. No one can support you. No one can help you with your needs, your wants, your desires, because you're in here. So that fence you trying to straddle, you got to get on one side. Either get on the side of gain or just stay right there where you are. I mean, no one's gonna fight you. No one's gonna fight you for the limitations you're arguing for. I remember someone once said the limitations you will always win your argument for your own limitations.
Always.
No one's gonna beat you out of that. No one's gonna beat you out of that, right? So let's unpack. All right, so we talked about release, and ladies and gentlemen, if you have missed the first bullet point that we talked about, we are unpacking Release, refresh, and refuel. 3 things you're going to need to do for your journey outside of your comfort zone. And I have the amazing transformational coach. Man, this is such a warrior that I have with me in my presence that we're listening to, helping us unpack these 3 things. None other than the great, the one and only Sahsha Campbell-Garbutt. And we are diving in on these 3 things. We just finished talking about release. Make sure you like, comment, and share this out with your friends. Make sure you watch the replay. It is highly worth it. So we're moving on to our second point of refresh. So when I say refresh, needing to refresh for your comfort zone, what comes to mind for you?
When I hear the word fresh, I think new. And if you need to refresh, that means you're not brand new. So when I hear about refreshing, that means we got to go back to the beginning. How were we made? We were made with no lack. We were made without flaw. We were made knowing and having everything that we need for this journey. So when I hear refresh, it reminds me to go back to our essence, who and what we are, childlike, because when you're a child, you are just in awe with your own awe. You're in awe with your own existence. And taking that attitude onto this journey. Okay, so I've released, now what? Let's start at the beginning. At the end of my videos, I say, as you were born, so was the solution. You've always had everything that you needed, but we have forgotten that because we played the comparison game and we've been programmed to believe if you need this, then you must have that. So let's go back to the beginning, how we began, what's our essence, and then take on our journey with a new, fresh pair of eyes, because these eyes are finite anyways. We need to really get aligned, to get in tune with your intuition. How do you do that? Your intuition is that thing that always talks to you, but you have a tendency to ignore. We were talking about that earlier. That's your intuition, that gut that says, oh, I knew I shouldn't have gone there right now. Or, we really shouldn't have. We should have took the later flight or whatever. And then you end up being delayed. But you have that gut. And a lot of times when we ignore our intuition, we stay in our comfort zone. So refresh means bringing it back to the beginning, not only of who we are and what we are, but let's start to visit things that give us life. Certain thoughts that don't give us life, we need to leave them alone. We have 50 to 60,000 thoughts that run through our head every day. We can't fix them and correct them all. That leads back to the illusion of control. What you can do is say, I'm not going to pay you guys any mind. I'm going to think about what makes me feel good, because we have a right to think about what makes us feel good and what's going to make us vibrate higher. So refreshing is going back to the basic, the foundation, not doing things for likes and doing things for all this, but what resonates, resounds to us is where we need to go to when it comes to refreshing.
You know, Jason Hodge in the chat said, why we are, going back to why we are as well. When you think about purpose, that's a big part of refresh. You got something? Go ahead.
Absolutely. I like to tell people that we are more than who's puts us in a person state. We are all supernatural. So we are what's. We are all divine reflections of the Most High. We are all made of the same beautiful things that keep the sun going and keep the stars shining at light. We have all those same things, oxygen and carbon inside of us, right? So once we know what we are, then we know why we are. A lot of us try to seek the why without knowing the essence. It's like going to the grocery store and don't even know what you're shopping for. You're just there. So when we get to what we are, oh my gosh, I am everything I see around me. So of course I'm here to remind people of their omnipotence. I'm here to remind people that they are to be great and unlimited. I'm here to remind people. And then once you know that, you'll tap into the different expressions of that why we are. It's an excellent point, Jason. And it helps us to live from the inside out as opposed to the outside in. When we know what we are inside, then we know why we are outside.
So getting back to the essence, like that's where you have to get back to. It's not trying to get back to a place or space, right? Like some people say, I need to get back to that person I was back in
Mm,
2012.
right.
No, you got to go much deeper than that. It's not that superficial thing. It's not who you were in that moment, right? It's really who it's more of the entire part of your being, right? It's more powerful. You're more powerful than who you were in 2012. You're more powerful than who you were in 2019 or in the beginning of 2020. So it's about being able to refresh, like hit that refresh button, and begin again. Be willing to experience the infinite possibilities that are outside of the comfort zone, and know that you're up for it. And you don't. It's not like you don't have to know everything. I think that's what gets in the way sometimes, because you don't
Yep.
know the how, right? And that how you got to have the control. It's that illusion of control. I got to know the how before I take this step. But if you don't ever take the step, you'll never realize it.
You hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head. We have to relinquish what we think we know in order to walk in what we're supposed to know. Once again, a man can't have two gods, right? You either want to stay in, let's call this God of what you thought you knew, or you want to walk into the unknown, which is the God that you are supposed to live as. So control is the one thing. Control and comfort go hand in hand. And when you realize that your life is not a comparison of anybody else, but it's a companion to someone else's, you just walk different. You just breathe a little different. So we really have to go back to what we were before the programming. We have to go back to those things that we've buried within ourselves. Oh my gosh, I've always wanted to play the drums, for example, but I'm too old to do that now. Or my time is past, or I have too much, all these other stories that we tell ourselves. If you always like to play the drums, that means you should tap into playing the drums, because that makes you feel good. And doing what makes you feel good honors your existence. When I say doing what makes you feel good, I don't mean on a visceral level. I don't mean the outside stuff. Oh, I like going to get my hair done, that makes me feel good. Or I like having drinks with my boys or girls, that makes me feel good. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about that thing that makes you feel good, that makes you high just from the thought of it, that creates that vibration, that frequency that could only take you to the top and you get the things on high. I'm talking about that. Burying the things that uh, I'm talking about bringing up the things that you buried based on logic. I really, really, really want to get into writing a book, but I only pass English with a D. Does it matter? There's ways to do it. There's ghostwriting. You could record it on a recorder and have someone, type it up for you. There's a lot of ways, but it's just getting out of that victim mindset, getting out of that limiting belief that the thing that makes you feel good is not going to get you through this life, because it's the very thing that you need to tap into.
I like what you said about it's not about comparison, it's about companion, and it made me remember the three C's, which is don't compare, don't compete, and don't complain. On your
Absolutely.
journey, don't compare, don't compete, and don't complain. You don't have to compare yourself to no one. There is no one like you. There is no
Nope.
one here to do what you can do. There, you
Yep.
are so special. You are so unique. You are so valuable to the overall purpose and mission of things that need to happen.
Oh,
You
yeah.
are everything you need to be already. So you can't compare yourself. It's an unfair thing to compare you, the wonderful, amazing you, to someone else, because there's no one like and it's just a discredit to even be able to begin to do that. So don't compare, don't compete. You don't have to compete with anyone. You have it in yourself. No one's going to be better at you than the things you decide that you're going to be good at. No one's going to be better than you. You have your own special stuff, and then don't complain. Just keep going. Just keep moving. Don't be unstoppable. I like what you were saying about the book. Just because you got a D in something, well, get a ghostwriter. You don't. It doesn't have to be about
Totally.
you, right?
Totally. I love old school music. And there's a song by a group called Slave. And Steve Arrington says, nobody can be you but you. And even as a youngster, that used to resonate with me. And I didn't really get it. It just had an amazing beat. I was like, oh, okay, good. But I get it now. No one can be you but you. And when you utilize your precious life force in comparison, you feel more of a lack of connection with your existence because you're trying to be someone else and you've left this spot open, which is you. You're never going to feel fulfilled if you're living someone else's program. And even if you're saying, I'm not comparing myself to this person, you're comparing yourself to the ideal about a person or an existence or a position. So some of the biggest reasons we feel incomplete is because we're not taking up our space. We have to take up our space. If not, we will always feel incomplete. So comparison and indecision are the biggest life drainers that they are. So when we're talking about refreshing, take some time and get settled in your space, in your being, what you like, what you don't like. Be okay with saying what you don't like, what doesn't please you, what doesn't honor you, and be okay with changing. I know last week I said I like this, but I don't like this right now, and it's okay. So refreshing is really about honoring where you are at that moment. And the people who have benefited from you, in your comfort zone, are not going to like it, at least in the beginning.
I dare you to say that again. I dare you to say that again.
People who have benefited from you being in your comfort zone, and they are not going to like this refresh business. Excuse me, what are you refreshing? But to bring it full circle, as you get uncomfortable, they have the courage, because they're seeing it now, to get uncomfortable because they see the benefit of it. But when everybody's comfortable, everybody's comfortable.
I love this because people are benefiting because of you in your comfort zone. You know what? That's that crabs in the barrel thing that we've heard about our whole lives, right? People don't want you to step out your comfort zone. They'll do anything to keep you there because they're benefiting off of you being there. People don't want you to start stepping out on that dream, on that goal, on that idea. They want you to stay where you are. They don't want you to become the thing that's bothering you on the inside. That thing like you talked about earlier, it's that you can feel it on the inside of you. Some of you are listening right now knowing that you're not satisfied, you're not happy where you are. You have something gnawing at you on the inside saying there is more to life than what I'm getting right now.
Yep.
You know it's you. You know it's something bothering you, and there are some people that want you to stay there. You say, I'm gonna go to this conference. I'm gonna watch Sahsha Campbell-Garbutt on Step Out Your Comfort Zone. Forget that. The game on tonight. Watch the game. You don't want to go watch her. They want to keep you where you are, right? They don't want you to reach. They don't want you to stretch. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to become.
They don't want you to become. I liken the comfort zone and enabling people to crutches. When you have crutches, it's because you need to heal. But after a while, if you stay on the crutches, your muscles, they atrophy and they don't get that strength that they need. Therefore, they're never fully walking into their strength. So it's not until you pull the crutches from under, they may stop. You might stop, fall, and wiggle a little bit, but your muscles are going to get strong. And then you realize, oh my gosh, why was I in those crutches that long anyways? Crutches are meant for a temporary time. Comfort zones are meant for a temporary time. Once you pull out of it, you realize your strength. And it's only then that you realize your strength. We like to say, oh, this showed me what I was made of. And it's outside of your comfort zone.
So, man, say that last line again. Say that last line again.
Yeah, it was downloaded. I think I said like to say that people say, this is the stuff that I see. You got to help me, Chris.
Showing you who you are is outside of your comfort zone. Who you really are is outside your comfort zone. Staying inside that comfort zone is not real. It's not the real you. Nope. It's not the real you.
Existence right now, and I don't care what excuse you give it. if you're justifying the thing that brings you pain, it's time to move. I'm going to say it again. If you're justifying the thing, the attitude, the ideology, the belief, the habit that's bringing you pain, it's time to move. It's time to move. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's that job paying you $250,000. If you can't sleep at night, it's time to get on, because that's your true self knocking at the door. And when you continue to ignore the knock at the door, you will bear a hole in the door. The door now needs more repair because you ignored the knock. The knock serves purpose, but if it has to get louder and louder and louder, you'll break the door down. Now who's going to fix the door? You. And it didn't even have to get that far.
Hey, I got to read this quote Jason put here in the chat. He says, was just talking about that with one of my sons when I walk today. We get too used to the supports that cripple us down the road.
Facts. We have everything we need. And sometimes certain things feel so good, we attach to that. Oh man, let me stay with that. That felt so good. But if that felt good, something else is going to feel better. Let go, trust. Let go, trust. Let go, trust. That's how we experience infinite possibilities. Martin Luther King said faith is like taking the first step without seeing the staircase. I probably butchered that a little bit, but you know what I mean. I get that now. That means I know I gotta go. Why are we afraid to go, Chris, and everybody listening? It's because we don't take the time to sit in our what? Vision. When you have an end goal and when you believe that you cannot fail, you go. That's what dreams are made of. Not having the blueprint, knowing that the blueprint is there and my journey is just taking me to get all the supplies. The house is there. I'm just bringing the supplies. I'm just bringing the funk. I'm just bringing my own flavor. I'm just bringing my own energy. I'm just raising my whole vibration. But it is there. How to move outside of your comfort zone is to know the end goal. When someone's playing football, they see the end zone there and they know they're going to get there. Do you see a lot of games that start off with a Hail Mary? Absolutely not. There is processes, to go ahead. There are processes that have to take place in order to get to the end zone. But at the end of the day, you know I'm getting to the end zone. And if I don't get to the end zone at this play, this drive, I'm going to get there again. It's not about getting there fast. It's about getting there clearly, methodically, seeing the way and taking the steps, even though if you don't see all the things on the ground, it's okay. You'll know to cross over it when you get there, but you know you're getting to the end zone. You don't stop because it's hot, because it's snowing, because it's raining. You see players out there, they play with injuries if they can, with the flu if they can, with heat stroke if they can. Brother just played, his dad got killed in a car accident because he wanted to get to the end. How many of you guys are willing to take the time to sit in your vision, see the end goal, and take the steps to get there? No matter who's going to get uncomfortable. Because there's people in the stands watching and you can't please them all. It's not your job. Your job is to get to the end zone.
Man, okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. Keep rolling.
No.
I love that. I love that. How many of us just sit there on the sidelines, right? Not taking action, knowing that you have to do something, knowing the thing in order to get from where you are to where you want to be requires action. It requires a step. That's why the name of our community is Step Outside of Your Comfort Zone. You have to take a step. You don't have to take a giant leap. You don't have to take a running jump. You're going to have to take a step. And every step you take will lead you to every resource you need. Well, Chris, you don't understand. I need some money. It's outside. Well, you don't understand. I need some team. They're outside. You don't understand. I need a relationship. It's outside. You don't need it. You don't need resources to sit on a couch. You don't need a resource to watch the game Sahsha was just talking about. They're on the field playing. You at home watching the game talk about, oh, I need a football. What you need a football for?
Right.
You watching TV. You go to the kitchen, get you some hot wings. You're watching the game. You're a spectator. You're a spectator in the game of life. You got a dream, you got a vision, you got a goal. The only thing you missing is that step, that action step. Getting up, getting moving. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to the one and only transformation coach, hot off the press, delivering hot, fresh bread, Sahsha Campbell-Garbutt. We're talking about the 3 R's, the 3 things you're going to need to step outside your comfort zone. Number 1 was release. Make sure you watch the replay. Share this with a friend. Oh, she went 10 toes down on release. What are you going to have to let go of? What are you going to have to leave behind? Right? What are some of the things and people that you're going to have to leave behind to get outside that comfort zone? Number 2 was refresh. That's what we were just talking about, starting over, where you need to start from. Now we're moving into number 3. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle your seatbelts for refuel. We're about to talk about refuel. So in order to go on this journey, you're going to have to refuel. So we're going to kick it off with Sahsha again. When I say refuel for your journey outside of the comfort zone, what comes to mind for you?
In my book, The Well, I talk about, are you driving on 87 or on 91 or 93, depending on where you are. Minimum unleaded or premium unleaded, right? What are you driving on? The fuel you take in determines how far you go. First thing, we like to talk about diet, and diet is very, very, very important. What you eat, whole foods to fuel a whole person, right? You know, Chris and I could do a whole show on sea moss and the wonders of that. What you eat is important. However, there's an invisible diet that you are taking in, and that is called your thoughts. And thoughts supersede the diet on your plate because you think more than you eat. I never seen a person eat 50,000 times a day, but you have 50,000 thoughts or so. So you have to make sure as you refuel that you're watching what's driving you. Because a lot of times what's driving you is keeping you in circles. You're just going on the loop. For all my Atlanta heads, you're just going on in the 285, you're just going in a circle, going in a circle. So in order to refuel properly, you need to make sure you start your day properly. That's why meditation and prayer is key. How you start your day is how you go throughout the day. And even if something terrible happens, you're able to snap back because you claim victory. You claim that you're a champion from the beginning of the day. If you don't go through the day knowing how to reset your thoughts, you're not going through the day knowing how to override your subconscious programming. You're leaving yourself open to the whims of everything that's going on out there. Because things will go on no matter how much in tune you are and not. But when you're going off insight instead of physical sight, game changer. Your insight determines where you are wanting to go. Your sight determines where you're going, meaning what you see will take you down the familiar road. Your insight will take you where you desire to go. So refueling begins here on this platter. What's on this platter? Because that drives your course.
I love that. And I got a question for everybody in the chat. I want you to type in the chat, what are you doing to fuel your mind, to refuel your mind on a daily basis? What are you putting in your mind to start the day? How do you start your day? Go ahead and type in the chat the things that you're doing to start your day. That was very powerful about starting with your mind, your affirmations, your confessions, how you're eating. So, Sahsha, I want you to talk about, because we're dealing with our mind, our body, and our spirit, right? That all of those could get depleted. All of those could get depleted if we're not careful. If we start our day, like if we use up everything in our during today, what are we going to have for tomorrow? So refueling is not something you need to do once a week, once a month, once a year. Refueling is daily, sometimes multiple times a day, that you're going to have to get still, right? You're going to have to refuel your meditation, your eating. So I want you to talk about our mind, our spirit, our body. How do we refuel these things? And I want to get one of the things Jason said here in the chat before you dive in. He said things stay in perspective when you move through your day intentionally, even when things pop up. Leslie says prayer, meditation, and exercise. Right? And Jason also says I take time to think and assess my day. So what are some things come to your mind for the things that we could do and pay attention to focus on to refuel ourselves for our journey?
I'm going to be extremely transparent here and say time management is a big deal. How you spend your time determines how you spend. How you spend your time determines how you spend. So you have to make sure that you're not spending your time running around trying to fit in, trying to just have enough, right? You want to make sure that you are being purposeful and intentional with your day. So one of my mentors and my coaches tell me, try not to have more than 3 things on your plate at one time, because you feel not only a sense of accomplishment, but you feel a sense of completion. And as humans, we need to feel that sense of completion and purpose. And if we're running around trying to do 18 major things in one day, all you do is experience burnout. So in this day, and I want to challenge all of you guys who are going into tomorrow, October 16th, beautiful day, Friday. What are your 3 main things to get done? You've meditated, you've prayed, you've hydrated. What's on your agenda for the day? And do your best to stick to that so you're not being scattered all over the place. Because in this society, in this paradigm, it tells us we have to be very busy. We have to be busy, right? But if you're experiencing burnout, how much of your good, pure energy can you put into everything or anything? And for those that have taken a step further, that have children and spouses and businesses, you can't serve all of them at 100% every day. So you need to find the way that you're going to serve your household, serve your business, serve your community or whatever for that day. You don't have to clean the entire house from head to toe in one day. You don't have to restructure your whole program in one day. What aspects of it are you going to focus in on for the day and then do it? Everything else can wait until another time. Because one thing, especially entrepreneurs get into, is working 24 hours a day. But we go to corporate America and we work 8 hours a day. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter and more in a line and more planned and more disciplined. Why do we do that? It's because most of us who are not in purpose feel that we haven't done enough. So we're always trying to outdo the program that says we have not done enough. The old program says you have to continue to keep working and grinding to have just enough to retire. The new program says I'm in purpose. Therefore, I cannot be out of purpose. I'm going to do A, B, and C today. Not comparison, in companion with manifesting my goal.
That's powerful right there. It's being intentional. It's operating out of purpose. I remember Mary Kay Ash, the owner and founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, one of the largest multi-level marketing direct sales organizations. In her book, she said that every day, what took her from the bottom, from a ruined relationship, she was at the bottom, what took her from the bottom to owning a $6 billion organization. $6 billion. She said when she died, it was $6 billion. There were 6 things she would do every day. That's it. She made a list of the top 6 things she had to do every day, and she wouldn't do anything else. And she'd do those 6 things, and then that was it. She was on purpose. She was intentional. Because when you try to do, like you said, when you try to do so much, and you wonder why, not just that you're empty, but you don't have anyone to pour into you. See, we forget about that part. Yeah, you're empty, and you're too tired to pour into yourself. And because you're trying to do 30 things in a day, you don't have anyone that can pour into you. And the only thing that you hear from the people around you are the things that they're upset about, angry about, disagree with you about, talk about your shortcomings because you're not pouring. They can't pour into you. So
Exactly.
you're trying to, back to what we originally started with. You're trying to control. You're trying to control everything, and you're trying to control everyone that has you in this place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It makes sense. Think about it like this, beautiful people. You want to have your container so open and so massive that you can absorb and hold $6 billion. But if you're doing 85 things in one day, you don't have enough for even $1,000. So money is an energy that needs space. If you desire to have a full container, you need to have space in order to hold it. That's why Mary Kay Ash sat on $6 billion. She didn't focus A, B, and C. She focused on the main thing, on the end goal. And when she hit that end goal, she started over again. That's why she focused on 6 things. You need to have the space big enough to hold 6 billion, 6 million, 600,000. And being scattered is not creating space to hold that very thing that you are wanting. Get in line with your vision outside the comfort zone, outside the walls. And you see when I do that with the vision, how wide my hands are open, I have a lot of space to contain a lot of awesomeness that I'm waiting for. It's because I'm not in the business of comparison. I'm not in the business of doing everything else. I'm staying in the lane that I am to maintain right now. So
That's a powerful word. It's about creating space for it, right? Because I remember hearing one time like a response to why a lot of people don't hit the lottery because it would kill them.
There it is.
It would kill them. You don't have the space for it to be a benefit to you. Since you don't have enough space, it'll suffocate and kill you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Chris, you see the shows where people, I forget what it's called. I won the lottery and lost it all. It's something like that. And it's a show where people won $20 million and lost it all in a year. People, how is that so? Because if you can't manage a little, you can't manage a lot. And that shows in how scattered we are as a people and as a society. If you don't know how to manage 20,000 a year, you can't manage 20 million in a year. Because the money is an inanimate object. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't truly have any value outside of what we put on it. So this object, your objective determines how the object works. Your objective determines how the object, which in this case is money, works.
That's powerful because there's scripture that talks about if you're not faithful over a few, you're not going to be faithful over much. Right?
Sure.
Because it's
right.
You don't have the space to maintain it in a way that it could be beneficial, not just to you, but the people around you, or even to your life. It'll take you out. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you, but this has been absolutely amazing. I'm gonna give Sahsha just a moment just to go ahead and tie these three things together. Give us some encouragement about stepping outside of our comfort zone, and then give us an update of what she's working on and how we could get in contact with her. But tonight has been absolutely amazing for me, talking about the 3 R's of getting outside of our comfort zone: release, refresh, and refuel. I can't wait to listen to this again, and again. She dropped some wisdom nuggets that came from somewhere deep. When I tell you from go, it was on and popping, y'all. It was on and popping. Talking about release. What are you going to have to release and let go of for your journey outside the comfort zone? Refreshed, restoring who you are. And then she dropped her very special nugget. She did a download on the word attention. talking about, she broke down the word attention. And if if you missed that part, you got to go back and listen to it, because it's going to benefit and bless your life when she broke down the word attention. And then we talked about release, refresh, and then we talked about refuel. So Sahsha, I want you to do me a huge favor as we begin to close out our show for the evening. I want you to just tie all this in together: release, refresh, refuel, to step outside your comfort zone for the journey, and then let us know how people could get in contact with you, engage with you, get in your world. Hey, we didn't even talk about tonight. I'm gonna have to ask her to come back just so we could do a whole show about CMOS. Jason Hodge is inside the chat room. He said he takes his CMOS. There's some myths about CMOS that we need to debunk. I need to bring Jason. I'm gonna have Jason and Sahsha on the show together, so we could, because there's some craziness people putting out there. This stuff is good for you and will change your life. And I know Harry's out there. He don't want to take it, but we're gonna get Harry on board to take some CMOS. So Sahsha, could you wrap up, talk about release, refresh, and review as it relates to stepping outside our comfort zone, and then share with people how they can get in contact with you?
You have to be willing to let go in order to let grow. You have to be willing to let go in order to let grow. You have to be willing to open up your hands in order to grab on to guidance. And we cannot think we know it all, false sense of control, and then walk in the direction of knowing at the same time. Release is the gateway. Release is the key that unlocks everything else. And I would like to say to everyone, man and woman that's listening, if you know that in all your attainment, you still feel empty, if you know that everything that you're hearing and being told to do isn't satisfying to your soul, if you know that you have a life that should be experienced more than what you have up to this moment, let go of everything else and trust that the net is there to catch you. Because every one of us is born on purpose. And there is a divine source that has stock in our existence. And the only way to cash out that stock is for you to let go of mediocrity, let go of scarcity in order to dive into the sea of abundance. Let go. Refuel. No, we went tell me, Chris, we did release.
Refresh, refuel.
Refuel. So once you've done this and you let go of everything, now what do? Refresh. You start again at the beginning. Who am I? What am I? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, we are more than whose, we are what. We are divinity. We are the same thing that's made up of the stars and the moon and the sun and the soil is who we are. We are life. We give life. They say, I am here to have life and have it more abundantly. Yes, we are. But that takes a refreshing, a renewal of the mind. Romans 12:2 says, be not conformed of this world, but be transformed of the mind. That's what refreshing is, to be transformed of the mind. Allow yourself to experience a new experience. How do we refuel? Thoughts are we thinking? How are those thoughts making us feel? How do we set the precedent for our day? And when I say set the precedent for our day, I don't mean controlling everything that happens, but we can control our reaction. How? By knowing our end goal, by taking the time to sit in our body, in that feeling of what is it that I am here to manifest, and knowing that your words and your desires can't come back to you void, it's already done. All you have to do is to reset this to walk in alignment to that. Doesn't have to be a quick jump, a quick everything, but you just have to make a move. Refuel your thoughts. Refuel your food with the foods you eat. The movement. Our bodies are machines that are meant to be moved. Move your body. Don't just move your mouth. Move your body. And all these things create harmonics that create infinite possibilities. This is our time. We're not going to get many other times as a collective to truly step into our divine power. If we do not, other people are waiting to control your narrative. So the question is, who is in control of this? The source that you're connected to, or those that have another agenda? The choice is yours. I thank you guys so much for being here. Let me tell you where to find me. I am on Facebook at Life and Light Wellness. My business is called Life and Light Wellness. I am a coach that helps people uproot their subconscious blocks that lead to disease, discomfort, and just being stuck in your life in order to choose life at the crossroads, in order to choose new beginnings. I am that coach to help you through there. I have group programs. I have one-on-one programs. I have 2 books, The Well, Where Fitness Begins from Within, and Joie de Vivre in Quarantine. You can get The Well at lifeandlightwellness.com. You can get it at Amazon and Joie de Vivre in Quarantine on Amazon as well, or at JOIDEVIVRE book.com. Coming next, I have a new one-on-one coaching program called Hello Healing with the exclamation mark. And I would love to take you to a wonderful 4-week journey. I also have 3-month packages and 6-month packages, but I am ready to take that dive with you. Chris, I can't thank you enough for having me on the show. Thank you so much.
Hey, it's been my honor. I want you to do one more thing for me. Do your opening. I want you to, your introduction fires me up about who you are. Can you do it for me?
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. It is Sahsha Campbell-Garbutt, aka your health and personal freedom coach, the gangster of transformation, and the coach of the crossroads. And I just want to remind you guys that as you were born, so was the solution. Let's go. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Hey, hold on for me. I'm going to slide you back down to the green room. We'll be right back over to you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight in the Step Outside Your Comfort Zone community. It's been just a pure honor and joy hanging out with Sahsha Campbell-Garbutt as she helped us break down and unpack, release, refresh, refuel. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in live and tuning in on the replay. The replay is just absolutely amazing and on fire. So if you didn't get a chance to catch everything from the beginning, make sure you catch it from the beginning. Thank you for your support. Thank you for everything that you are doing. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here in the Step Outside of Your Zone community, where we're helping people remove the obstacles that stand in their way so that they can realize their dreams, their goals, their absolute best life. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. God bless you. God bless the day you were born. And we look forward to seeing you next week here at Step Outside Your Comfort Zone. Take care. God bless.